Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today, as a part of the Shadow H2O series of video, stroke build, stroke review, whatever you want to call it, we're going to take a look at some Phobya Watercooling kit. I will say right from the very beginning that a massive range of Phobya stuff is available from www.specialtech.co.uk, which I'm going to stick their logo down in one of the corners of the video anyway. But this is just some of the kit that I'm going to be using in the Shadow H2O build. Now, what I'm going to do is start with the biggest thing, which is the radiator. Now, we've got a full size, and by full size I mean 60mm thick, 360mm radiator, which is 3 times 120mm fans, as you kind of expect. It comes with 3 rubber grommets for your fans, so you've got like rubber dampers, so it stops the fan noise being put through to the fans, and the screws that you'd expect as well. But the rad is actually chopping huge. It's got these little rubber bits in between as well, which A, separates the fans off, but also B, like I said, it separates the fans off, also stops your fans or anything being pushed right down onto the fins. You can see that it's got stainless steel sides, but also if I bring it up you can see that it's got a Phobya logo stamp. Now this, to me, it looks like brushed aluminium on the side. I have to admit, I really wish this was black. In some rigs it probably would look nice silver, but for me personally I wish they'd made the sides black, the same as the rest of it, just blown it over with a bit of paint. If I was doing a custom build though, I have to admit, I'd take the excuse to, I wouldn't take the rivets out because they'd be a pain in the bum to get back in again afterwards, or replace I should say, but I would take the excuse to, mask the side of this off and paint it a colour to match the rig that I was building, so maybe the colour of your coolant, or the accent colour that you're going to be putting in your system. But we can see that it's a chuffing huge thick radiator. Now, one of the good things about these radiators is not only have you got normal, what I would call 90-degree ports on the radiator, but you've also got ones coming straight out the top as well, so you can choose where you want to put your barbs, whether you want to have them on this side or on this side. Now, another thing I would say is these rubber parts that are inside, you can take them out if you want, but if you have a think about where the barbs are and where these parts are, it's like that they really want you to be having the fans pushing through the radiator. Now, I had planned with this rig to have the fans pulling through the radiator, so I may swap these round. Now, a lot of people say to me, oh no, you've got to have the fans pushing through the radiator, not pulling. Well, it doesn't really make a massive amount of difference, to be perfectly honest with you. And if there is any minor differences, when you pull through the rad, it's a little bit quieter, but not a massive amount. So what I'm going to do is have a look at swapping these bits round, and they have just pulled out, so I am probably going to shove them round the other side. And then I'm going to get this mounted in the top of the case in a little bit. But anyway, that's the radiator. Just so you know the name, it's the Phobya G-Changer 360. Now, the last few builds I've done, we've had pumps and reservoirs together. So purposely this time, I've chosen a pump and a separate reservoir. And I quite like the look of this. I've never used this before. But this is the Phobya Balancer 150 Black Nickel. Now, the reason why I like this is it's like a normal style reservoir, but generally with the normal reses like this would be black plexi or acetal or whatever you want to call it. But this is actually nickel plated brass. If I unscrew it, yeah, it's a lovely shiny black nickel. Now, in with the design, you can see that you've got the anti-swell plate already in here. But yeah, black nickel res. So quite unique in that respect. I'm not sure, like I said, I just grabbed the parts and I'm going to loop this up as best as I can with the parts that I've chosen. Basically you have the return coming in the top, and then the feed for the pump will come out of one of the bottom ones. Just like I said, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to loop it up yet, but that's 150mm res, which basically means that you can have 150 millilitres of coolant inside there. Size with your loops, the bigger the reservoir, the more kind of overheads that you've got for your coolant warming up over time. But obviously at the same time, what you've got to bear in mind is, I mean, you could have a 20-gallon reservoir if you really wanted to, but it's going to look stupid. So you need to kind of balance out the difference between the size of your reservoir and how it's actually going to look. Now, fans, the ones that we've got are the Phobya Nano 2G12, which means 120, PWM, and they're 1500 RPM red LED fans. Very, very similar to the ones that I used on Snowdrift, I had to think there. But, if you have a look, there's black and red blades. Now they light up as well with red LEDs, but they're just quite stealthy. Now, as I said, I'm still not 100% sure whether I'm going to have the fans pulling out or pushing in yet. We'll have to see. I may just put them underneath so that we've got a bit of what would we have a bit of light. But I really like the mixed coloured blades. These are actually, I think, sex on a stick. Phobya have made some really, really nice fans of late. They're not super cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but with something like this, would you really want to stick a £3 fan in a rig this expensive? I don't think you would. Anyway, so yeah, we've got those. We've got 3 of those to go in. I wish they'd sent me an extra one so I could have put it in the back as well, but alas, they didn't. Last but not least, Phobya DC12260 12-volt pump. I'm just going to have a look on the back to see the specs. 600 litres an hour, they're saying, at 12 volts. Just going to unbox it, stroke, get it out quickly. I'm sure many of you will recognise the kind of style of this pump. It does get used by a lot of companies. It does come with a mounting pack and like a sticky pad and something you can screw it down with as well, should you wish. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this yet, to the point where I don't know whether I'm going to screw it into the reservoir, have it somewhere separately sat at the bottom, maybe in the drive bays, I don't know. We're literally going to be working that out in a second. Now, we've had a look at the water cooling parts. Now it's time to actually start looking at the case, seeing how we're going to get things fitted. Most importantly, we need to think about getting the radiator in the top and how we're going to align the fans, and then second most importantly is working out how we're going to fit the pump and the reservoir. So pretty much now it's sitting staring at the case and working out how we're going to get everything done. So let's crack on with that.